That's my Australian SAS jump wings. That was my first trip in the unit. When I finished all my training, right, all the guys are going to you already went to your squadron, but you actually hadn't been there yet. And then I finished training and like my squadron was in Australia, right? So I go pack my bags, right? I gotta fly like the next day. And you know, back then it was all the paper tickets, and I don't know how many layovers and planes it took me to get to Australia, but it was a lot. And then finally I get to Australia and like I had to bring all my gear, and because I was flying with my gear, I had to pack all my gear. So I landed and I get to the baggage, and like I get to the baggage thing and all the bags are coming out, and the Australian customs at the time had these little Beagles, and this little Beagle just goes and sits on like my assault kit bag, and I'm like, I just watching this Beagle go around and around, and everyone goes and gets their luggage, and like I'm like, oh man, this Beagle's sitting on my bag. I don't even want to deal with this. So like finally I'm the only one. There's only bags left on the thing. I'm still watching this Beagle. So finally I was like, hey, you know, I told the guy like, hey, that's my bag. And so he calls the Beagle off and he was like, you know, hey mate, you know, you got stuff. And I think it was a gunpowder explosive residue thing with the dog, right? So he's like, hey mate, you know, we're gonna have to, you know, I'm taking you back, you know, like I'm basically going into secondary. And then he's like, why are you here? Where are you going? And I was like, you know, hey, I'm an American Army guy and I'm going to Campbell Barracks, which is, you know, where the SAS guys are. And as soon as I said Campbell Barracks, the guy's like, have a good day, mate, and just walked off with his dog. So I wasted all that time being scared to get my bag, right? So finally I get into Australia. I got to take a few more hops to get to the other side of Australia because they're in Perth, which is the west coast of Australia. So I finally get to Perth, I get to Campbell Barracks, and I check into my hotel right down the street, and it's like, I don't know, it's past dinner time. So, you know, I have no idea who my team is or anybody, right? So I get there and one of the admin guys is like, hey, everybody right now is down in the bar getting dinner. So head down there. So I go down there and like, you know, my team's having a few drinks and like I get to meet them. It's my first meeting in a bar. They're all having drinks after training, a really long training day. And then, you know, about an hour into it, you know, like everyone's either tired or hammered. And, you know, my boss at the time was like, hey, so-and-so, come on, let's go have another drink, you know? And they're like, no, I'm tired, boss, I'm going to bed, right? And he goes around all the guys on my team and he points at me, right? And he's a really big guy, right? And I was just like, I don't have a choice, do I? And he's like, nope, let's go. So we went out on a Nightcap, right? And I was smoked, man. It was like 26, 28 hours, you know, to get there. And then later, when I came back from Australia and filed my voucher, right, the finance folks, you know, it was 3 days to actually get to Australia. So, you know, they're like, hey, you know, we can't pay you for these days, blah, blah, blah. It's only 26 hours for the tickets. You know, can you explain? And like, I used to keep a notepad and I left like on Monday and I got to Australia where I was going on Wednesday. Like, I don't know how this works. I wrote it in my notebook and then, you know, so as a new guy, when I got back, I was kind of getting grief from finance, only to find out like there's an international date line in there. Like I crossed into another day. So finally, someone was like, hey, of course he got there Wednesday, he crossed the international date line, and they're like, okay, new guy, get out of here, right? So they didn't even want to fill out my voucher, but it was a bunch of really long flights.